Hey everyone, thanks for learning to play games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be playing through a brand new game that is currently on Kickstarter called Ghostland. This is the latest game from Crystal Lake Entertainment. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 30 to 60 minutes to play and is a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together. So in the game itself, you are at an amusement park, and not just any amusement park. This one specializes in ghosts. So you can go and see all these different ghosts and see what's going on and stay safe. But there's a catch. Things have gone wrong. The electric recurrence field generators have gone down, and now the ghosts are killing all of the attendees. So that's where you come in as the players. You're going to play all kinds of different types of player or characters trying to shut or redo and start up the electrical recurrence field generators and ultimately defeat the evil mastermind behind this, Rex. And so throughout the game, you're going to be using your collection of dice to complete and lock away and defeat different ghosts, and starting up those electrical recurrence field generators to isolate and save those different sections of the attractions. So throughout the game, that is your goal, and then ultimately you're going to be going up against Rex himself and hopefully making it through there, and then saving as many inhabitants as you can. As the game goes on, more and more people are going to be killed by the ghosts, and so you're going to have to work as hard as you can as a team to hopefully save that. So in this video, I'm going to show you how the game plays, showing you the first few, middle few, and end few turns of the game to show you better how this one plays and progresses. Now, I will be playing this one on Tabletopia as there wasn't a prototype available, so keep that in mind as you watch the video. I'll do my best to explain how all the different things go, and that all the materials are still prototype materials. Even in the Tabletopia version of the game, they are still prototypes and will look a lot better in the final production copy of the game. As always, if you find my videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button and subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we continue to grow, build and produce this content. If you want to get notified anytime I drop new videos, as I'm constantly dropping all kinds of new videos, hit that notification bell, and that'll let you know whenever I drop new things. So let's go ahead and head to the table, and we'll see how this one plays. Alright, so moving into the game, I have chosen to play with 3 different characters. So those characters are Nico. He is a security guard, and he has a special ability, which is Zap Attack. So once per activation, I may turn any one player's die into a shock stick symbol. Next, I have Stan. He is a retired cop, and his special ability is In a Pinch. So once per activation, I may pass a die to any character at any attraction. And so normally, as you can see here during the activation phase, I'm normally allowed to pass one die to another player in the same attraction. So his special ability allows him to pass it to anyone, anywhere. And then the final character I have chosen is Allison. She's a therapist, and her special ability is Primary Care, where she can, once per activation, she may turn a shock stick into a hand symbol on one of her dice. So hopefully those will come in handy. I also have a number of different items that are going to be available for me to hopefully purchase. And then the game itself, I'm going to be trying to defeat different ghosts that are going to be played out. So I'm going to go ahead and start off for setup purposes. I have to place out a ghost in each one of the attractions. So I'll go ahead and place that here. And this one is orbs. So players cannot use items while orbs are in place. I'm going to have to take them out before I can use items if I acquire any. Next is Buckskin Gang Member. And he adds 5% kill of guests during cleanup phase. If Henry Smokes is in play, the dice cannot be placed on this ghost. So currently there is not, so hopefully that other character won't come up, but we will see. All right, so next I have Oliver Hedgewood. So during the rolling phase, all players must re-roll one hand in the initial roll, and he is going to kill 5% of guests during the cleanup phase. So he's pretty nasty. I'm going to probably want to get rid of him, hopefully fairly quickly here. In the middle here, I will have Agatha Crane, and she is players cannot purchase items while Agatha is in play, so she's another problem one. I can't even get items. Even if I could, I can't use them, but that is going to be another one that I'll have to deal with. All right, and the final one out there is going to be the arcade ghost. He kills 10% of guests during the cleanup phase. So he's really nasty. Okay, so now that all the ghosts are out, I can move into the game itself. As I've handled all the rest of the setup stuff, I placed out my token at the high value for the guests, and throughout the game, as you already saw, the guests are going to slowly be depleted in 5-point or 10-point increments, more or less. So with that, my goal is to eliminate the ghosts, and then underneath the ghosts, so as I move this over, you're going to have a location that you can place an electric recurrence fill generator. And as you do that, that cleanses that particular attraction, and ghosts will not respawn in there. But that also advances the game, where you're going to be revealing an event card. For the first field generator, I'll reveal the first event card. For the second field generator I put out, I'll have to reveal the event card 2. And then once I've completed the third one, then the third event will come out during the next phase, when I'm going to be facing off against Rex Garot. And we'll see how he goes. He is the mastermind behind this attraction, this Ghostland camp. So we'll see how that all works. All right, so moving into the game itself, each round is going to be played over 4 phases. And these phases are going to be handled in order. The first phase is the Populate phase. So during this phase, you'll check all of the ghosts that are out there. If any of them have any abilities or anything like that that have that particular trigger, then you'll handle that. But you're also going to go around and check and make sure that each of the attractions has a ghost in it. So if you defeated the ghost but did not get a electrical recurrence field generator up, then a new ghost is going to spawn over that location during this step. And so you'll handle all of that. But right now we're at the beginning, and so nothing is going to happen there. So then the next thing is the roll phase. So each character is going to roll their collection of dice, and then they are going to discuss among each other how they want to activate those dice during the next phase. Now, one important note with that is that you can discard a die from the left side of your board to the right side of your board to re-roll all the rest of the dice you have remaining. And you can keep doing this by spending 1 die at a time to re-roll the rest, obviously, until you either run out of dice or you're satisfied with the roll. But you also have to keep in mind that you are spending your dice that you could potentially be using. So that is another important thing. So with this, moving into the roll phase, I am going to hopefully work as a group to try to eliminate ghosts, or a ghost or more ghosts, and then at least try to get 1 field generator up during this first turn. Now, it might not happen, but that is the goal and will really give me a good head start. As in later turns, right now I have my guest limit is full, but in later turns, each one of my different people can spend a hand symbol to increase that guest limit by 5 points if it has moved down. And it will definitely move down, as during the cleanup phase, each ghost that's remaining is going to do a certain percentage of damage to the overall guests, eliminating and killing guests as the game goes on. And if this ever reaches the bottom, obviously the game is over and all the players have lost. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with Nico. I'm going to go ahead and give his dice a roll and see how this goes. All right, I got 3 shock sticks, a hammer, a hand, 4 shock sticks, okay, and a hood. Okay, that's not terrible. I think I'm gonna hold there. All right, so then I'll come down to Allison here and go with her. So we'll see what she gets. All right, so she's got 4 shock sticks, 2 moves, and a hammer. Oh, and I do have to go back up and re-roll the 1 hand symbol that he got, as that is going to, because of that 1 ghost that's out there. She can convert a shock stick into a hand symbol, so I think she's going to be okay as well. Let me go handle this real quick, because I did have 3 hand symbols, so I will go ahead and re-roll this one. Because I think it's just 1. Let me double check just to make sure. I think it's this guy up here. Must reroll 1 hand symbol. Okay, yeah. So it's just 1. Okay, and I got the hand symbol anyway, so that's all right. And over to Stan to go. See what he gets. All right, so 3 movement. 3, I would really like to get some more builds in there, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and spend a die, and then I'll re-roll the rest of these, because I really would like to get some more hammers. If I can. No, I still didn't. I think I'll stay with it and see if I can get lucky, but I do have to re-roll this one because of that. Oh, so close. All right, so you got tons of shock sticks as well. All right, so he definitely probably isn't going to be the one that I want to... Well, I could have him go first. Yeah, I guess I will. All right. So now that all the players have handled their role, now again, like I said, we're going to move into the activation phase. So you can activate the characters in any order that you choose. As a group, you're going to want to talk about this. And then once you have decided that, when a character or player starts their activation and carries out an action, they have to complete that character's activation. So you won't be able to bounce back and forth from characters. You have to complete an entire character first before moving on to another character. All right. So with that being said, I do have Agatha in there. So I do have, I'm going to put 2 shock sticks on her. So I'll drop that one in there and this one. So that'll take care of that, at least. And then I think I want to move. So I don't have any of the ghost trams at this point. So I'm going to spend a shock stick and a hand, as I can spend 2 dice that I have to allow me to move, and that's listed on the character card underneath right here. So I can discard 2 dice to move to an adjacent attraction. So I'm going to go ahead and move down here and start working on this guy, and I have 2 more shock sticks. So he is almost gone. And another important thing is, if a ghost has dice on it during the cleanup phase, those are going to stay on there. Now, if you're working towards the electric recurrence field generator, those dice will be removed and returned to the players. So the dice on the ghost will stay there. All right, so with that being said, she needs a hood and a hammer. And he has nothing. And she has a hammer. Oh man, nobody's got hoods? Oh, I screwed that up bad. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. No one's got any hoods. Yeah, I messed that up. Alright, so definitely don't want to go there. And unfortunately, all of the ghosts need hoods. Ooh. Well, that's not good. And she only can do the hand, so this is not going to be a very productive turn. I'm not even going to kill any ghosts. This is not good. Okay. Well, that's what I get. So, with that being said, I guess the best thing to do is to really kind of prepare for the next turn at that point. So, let's see. He's problematic as well. So, and he didn't roll any hammers either. So I'm going to spend one of the ghost trams so that I can move. And I'm going to go ahead and head on up here. And physics. All right, so and then I spend the 2 shock sticks that I have to start working on this guy. And I'm really going to have to hopefully get some other stuff there. And then I think I will hold on to a ghost tram, so I can hold on to 1 die during my turn. And I think I will spend 2 more of the ghost hands to move back into that central spot. And then there's not much else I can do with that other one. I could give it to her. So I think I will, just so that she has it. As you can give it to one other person in your space. Okay, so Allison is the last to go. She's going to go ahead and play the one hammer that she has. I have, and then, yeah, unfortunately, there's really not much else I can do, and I don't want to spend all of my dice and locking those spots up when I really need those other symbols. So I've already got a number of dice locked up with the other players, quite a bit. So I think she is going to really need to just hold on to hers and hope for the best. I will hold on to a tram. And I didn't spend this, so this is just going to go back to him. All right, and I think that's everything. So this is going to be a painful cleanup phase. All right, so that ends the activation phase. So now the cleanup phase, now I'm going to go through and handle the ghosts. So this ghost's ability has no effect during this phase, but the location itself is going to kill 5% of guests if a ghost is present during cleanup, which it is. And same with this one, he also does 5%, so that's 15%. She does, or this one does 10%, so that's 25%. I got another 5 there for 30%. He does 10%, so that's 45%. This was terrible. Whew, 45%. Ouch. I sure hope the next phase or next turn goes better, because that was painful. All right, and like I said, all the dice are going to stay on there because the ghosts have not been eliminated. So then each of the players will be able to move their dice back over to their left-hand side and get ready for the next turn, since I didn't handle anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and do that part off camera, as it does take a little bit of time to, finagle all this stuff due to the Tabletopia dynamics, and then we'll be back once I'm ready to move into that next round. All right, so now that I've got all that situated, we'll move into the populate phase, which again, there are no ghosts that have been eliminated, so there won't be any new populating of any ghosts. All right, so then we move right into the roll phase, or rolling phase. So now I'm really hoping that I get some hammers here. I need some hammers, and I need some hoods, or some keeper suits. So hopefully that will work out. All right, so I've got 2 hands, 1 keeper suit, and an electrical. And he does force me to reroll 1 hand, so maybe I'll get something better there. Oh, so close. It was a hood there for a little bit. All right, so I'll go with her next, as I really don't want to spend his dice to reroll anything. So maybe she'll get some hammers here. All right, so she got another hood. All right, and the hand does get rerolled. It's a hand again. I don't know how well the rolling mechanics are in this. So that's the second time I've rerolled a hand and gotten the same result. All right, so I've gotten 3 hoods, but no hammers at all. And yeah, he doesn't have any hands to reroll, so I'll be able to take down some ghosts. And that's about it, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'll be able to get some ghosts out of the way, and I hopefully will have, I do have a couple of hands, so I could at least bump up the amount of people that are eliminated a little bit, so that will help. All right, so been a rough game so far, but we'll see if I can turn the tide here a little bit. Okay, so that being said, guess I'll go with Nico first. All right, so I'm going to spin the hood, and that will clear this. So I'll go ahead and take these off. And I'll just, whoop. All right, so I'll have to zoom out here and move these dice out of the way. Okay. Oh, gotta love Tabletopia. They're great. It's great. It's a great program for testing this stuff, but it definitely does slow things down just a touch. As obviously I could have done some of this so much faster with my hands, but that's all right. All right, so at least I got her out of the way. Now I cannot build a recurrence field in there until I've gotten the other ones built. So with that being said, I can spend a hand to increase this by 1 or by 5%, as that is listed here. Once per activation, I discard a hand to gain 5 guest population. So that will bring me back up to 60 at least. Okay, and I still have a shock stick and a tram, and I have a tram in storage as well. She was the one that players cannot purchase items while she's in play. So I can purchase items potentially now. I just can't use them yet. But that doesn't mean that I can't buy them. All right, so I have once per activation, you may use 1 interchangeably. Okay. That's kind of nice. I don't have that ability, or I have yet. Once per activation, discard a hammer to return a discarded die back to your active pool. You may pass 1 die to another character in any attraction, or any character may pass 1 die to you. Okay. So that might be good, and that's a wild, and that's a single use, so that could come in handy. So I'll use the tram symbol to do that. So I will pick this up, and that reveals a new item. So I have Roscoe's Ride. All right, and I still have 2 dice symbols. So what's this one do? Once per activation, you may discard a ghost tram to move to any attraction or have any other character move to your attraction. All right, that's pretty good. This one's a single use, discard during your activation to heal 10 population. That's going to be really important. I don't have the symbol for the hand for the duct tape, but I could get the smartphone, which again, I don't necessarily have hammers, but those are permanent items. But I guess I will go ahead and spend the 2 and get Roscoe's Ride. All right. And you can have up to 3 items in your area. Okay. All right, upgraded keeper suit. What's this do? Ignore all text on a ghost in the same attraction as this player. Ah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so then the next character to go, I'm thinking Allison, because she, if I can get down to where Stan is, I can pass him a hand die, and then he can use that to increase 5%, and then she can convert with her ability so that she can convert 1 into a hand as well, which will allow me to increase it a little bit more. So I think that's what I'll do, is I'll activate her first. I'm going to go ahead and do the conversion right off the bat with that, so that will increase this by 5. And then in her space, the ghost has been eliminated. I could move up here and take him out, which might not be a bad idea. She doesn't have any trams though. Oh, she does have 1. So at least then I could do that. So I think I will. So I'm going to spend the tram and I'll move her over. And then I will spend the hood to take him out. And I'm just going to move it over here because he is going to go down right there. So I'll move that over there, and I'll have to check and see if this is his die or not. All right, so that one's out. All right, and then I still have all those, so I'm going to spend these 2 here to move one more time. All right, so I'm going to shift her down, and then I will go ahead and pass the hand over to Stan as he is in my space now. All right, so then it's going to be Stan's turn. He's going to spend his hood. I'm just going to move it directly over because that is the last symbol on this particular ghost that is needed. And then that ghost is gone. Okay. All right, so that moves those 2. I'll spend the hand, so I'm going to bring that back down to Allison, and that bumps me back up. Oh, too far. Ugh, darn it. All right, I'll just put it there for now. All right, and then this is going to go up 5% more. Okay. And then he's got 2 symbols left, so 2 moves at this point. I think I will hold on to one, and I'm just going to leave the other one. And, well, I do have... I'll spend the other one, and I'll buy the first aid. That way, then he has that, and can use that, hopefully, at some point here. I got to get the other guy out of there, but at least I'll have some items. Okay. All right, that is pretty much everybody's activation at this point. So then it's going to be the cleanup phase again. So first off, the ghosts, I have a 5% there, a 5% there, and then, okay, and he also adds 5%. So I'm dropping it, so it basically brings it right back down to where it was. So I basically had to wash that particular round. And then that is the end of the round. All right, so at this point, I'll move into a new round here in a minute where I'm going to be adding new ghosts. And I think I will play one more on camera, and then I'll play a couple rounds off camera, because hopefully this round will go a little better and I'll be able to get out a field generator so you can see how that works here. Okay, all right, so that ghost should be easy to clear. I need 3 shock sticks. So hopefully that will pan out. All right, so let's see what new ghosts we have. All right, so in the middle here, I have the Mime. He kills 5% of guests during population phase. Okay, including this one. All right, so he takes out 5 right away. So I'll drop that down. Okay. And then we have the Giant. When the Giant enters play, place a ghost in every attraction with a recurrence field generator. Okay, so luckily he came out before I had any field generators. And then I have the Pirate Ghost. During the rolling phase, players at this attraction must re-roll a hammer in their initial roll. Oh, that's not very nice of him. All right, so it might be down to Nico to be able to get the hammers. And then he requires 2 shock sticks and a hammer as well. So, all right, we'll see how that goes. All right, so then it's going to be the rolling phase. So let me move these dice over real quick. I'll just roll them as well. All right, so let's see how this goes. All right, so we've got... All right, so he's got a couple of hammers. He's not in that location, so that's good. And then we've got the trams. All right, so I think I'm okay with that. That's a fairly decent spread there over. That should hopefully work. All right, so let's go ahead and roll real quick. All right, she's got 2 hoods, a hammer, a hand, and that. Okay, so then I have to re-roll the hammer. Of course, now you don't come back as a hammer. Okay, so she's not going to be super helpful there. But that's during the initial roll, right? So during the roll phase, players at this attraction must re-roll all hammers in their initial. Well, yeah. So even if I re-roll, I don't know if that would classify. That would fall within discard 1 die to re-roll all remaining dice. I still think that's probably initial roll. Okay. All right, and then it's over to him. Let's move these and then roll. Yep. Oh, I gotta get the whole batch again. All right, so I've got 2 hammers that both have to be re-rolled. Well, that's not working. Come on. All right, and then that one's still highlighted. Okay, there we go. You couldn't even at least given me 1 hammer? Okay, well... what do these guys need? They need a hammer as well. Okay. Well, I've got the 1 hammer there. But he's the only one with a hammer at this point. So I think I am probably going to need to spend to reroll. Okay. And I think I still have to reroll those because I believe this is still considered all the same thing. All right, so it still really didn't help me all that much. All right. Well, yeah, he's the only one with, okay, he got 2 hammers. So, mine. Okay. So, so how do I want to handle this? He doesn't have any hands, so I don't necessarily want to have him go first. She's got 1 and she can convert 1, so she would probably be the better option to go first, at least. Because then she could move and then pass 1. So I think that's what I'll do. So starting off, I've got 2 sticks that I can place on there. Okay. And then I still need a hammer for that one to clear. So then I'll spend a tram to move, and I also will spend a hand to move this back. Now I've got the hoods, and I don't necessarily need the hoods. All right, so with that being said, I will convert this over to a hand. I'll just move it over here, and I'll give him the red one. Okay, so that takes care of that. And she only has, he's got a bunch of trams, so I'm going to go ahead and give him another hood at least. So I can only do it once, right? Discard once per activation. You may pass 1 die to any other player. Okay. Yeah, because I can't be able to get over there and drop a couple hoods on him might be good too. but I don't want to spread myself too thin here. And then this guy, well, he could actually take him out. So that might not be too bad either. What does this guy do? All right, he makes me re-roll hammers in that I'm in his space. So do I want to go with him? Yeah, let's go with him. So I'm going to go ahead and spend the tram that I was holding on to. I'll move over here. And then I'm going to spend the 2 hoods and the shock stick. Okay, that is going to take him out because he needs, yep, the shock stick and 2 hoods. So he's gone, and that opens this up. And I will go ahead and, oh, that's tough too. I don't think I have 2 hammers, do I? Yes, I do. I really don't want to leave this guy, but he's not gonna do anything other than this ability is going to trigger. But getting that field up would be a really nice step, so I think I will do that. So I'm going to go ahead and place that there, and then I do have the tram, so I will spend the final tram. What do these glasses do? Look at the top 2 ghost cards. Discard one and place the other on top of the deck. Okay, so that's not going to be super helpful. So I'm going to spend a tram to move there. Okay. All right, so that finishes off his turn, and I still have those ghosts there, so I can't actually use items, which would be helpful. All right, so then I am going to go ahead and spend one of his trams to move down here. All right, and then I'll spend the 2 hammers, so that will clear this location, and will have me placing my first field generator. So now there's no ghost that will spawn there, and I do have to do an event card. So let me shuffle these real quick. All right, pulling 1, and let's see what we got here. All right, so more speed. So all recurrence field generators require an extra die to be built. Okay, so now I need the ghost trams as well. So in the empty space, so each one of these fields has an empty space, and now that'll be a ghost tram in there, or that I'll need to have. Okay, so I did spend the 2 hammers for that. When we get those out of the way, otherwise I'll be like, oh, I still got hammers. No, you don't. All right, so I have done all of that. I will spend the hand to increase by 5%. So I definitely need that. What was this one? Once per activation, you may discard a ghost tram to move to any attraction or have any other character move to your attraction. Okay. All right, and then, so I still have 2 ghost trams and 2 hoods and 1 shock stick, which I can. Once per activation, you may turn any one player's die to a shock stick. Okay, so I can convert 1 die of mine to a shock stick as well. So I don't have the hammers to take that guy out. I could start working on them because I do really do want to be able to start using items. Okay, so that one lets me spend a hood. Whoa. So I'll spend the hood there. And then I'll convert this hood to a shock stick with my ability, and then I have my other shock stick here. All right, and I will hold on to that die. All right. So not a bad round overall. I'm still gonna get hit here for some damage, unfortunately, but not, at least I was able to get my first generator up, so that's good. All right, so I'm going to lose 5% here, and that guy doesn't do anything there, but I lose 5% there, 5% here, and 10% there, so I'm down another 25%. So there's 55, 35. All right, so I really need to clear a couple of these ghosts so that I don't have to worry about that. All right, that is all of that. So now it's going to move into a new round. So I'm going to go ahead and take this round off camera, or potentially 2 rounds, and we'll see how things are when I come back. All right, so moving back in after a couple rounds, my characters have been able to make some progress. So after having that second one come up, I did have this card, this event card, come up. So this one kind of basically set me back even more, as it does 10 damage for the attractions that still had, that were still active. And then I also had to place out all of the 4 dice on the different symbols. So I was able to complete that during that last round. And so we're back in it now and starting a new round. And my characters, I still holding on, still got, I haven't been able to catch up too much there, but I've been able to hold it steady. So getting close. If I can get a one of these ghosts clear, hopefully down here won't be too bad, and then I can possibly take care of that location and be ready for that boss battle. So let's go ahead and move back into it. So first off, I have a new ghosts coming out. So this one in here. And with him, that is Harry Winslow, and he kills 5% of guests during the population phase, including this one. But luckily, with that, with Allison, she does have the upgraded keeper suits, so I get to ignore all text on a ghost in the same attraction as this player. So luckily, she was there and was able to stop him from doing that. So that's great. And then we also have, what do we got down here? All right, so we have the Hateful Dead. In order to place any amount of dice on the Hateful Dead, a character must first discard a die. So, and that one needs 3 shock sticks. So we'll see how that goes, but I might be able to move her down there depending upon what she gets and just handle them that way too. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so now it's going to be the rolling phase. So I'll go ahead and start over here with Nico and see what he can get. All right, so we've got 2 shock sticks, a couple of hoods, hands, and a tram. Okay. He's got a couple. He could convert one, so he could literally move over there and handle that whole crew. Might not be a bad thing. I think I'm going to hold the dice, though. I think I'm okay with him, because if either way, I could either handle them or I can handle the guy in the middle. Okay, so this one's got a couple of hammers. Okay, 3 hammers. So if I can clear it, I think he's got just about everything that is needed to handle that location. So moving down to Allison here. All right, so she's got a whole lot of hands, and she's got a hammer. Okay. Yeah, I guess that could work. Well, does she need that many hands? So Stan's got, I think, pretty much everything to build the final field generator. I have to get through them, which I could do with him. He's got the shock sticks, and I can convert one to another shock stick. And So what was I thinking? So this guy can build a fill generator. This guy could clear that crew, which kind of leaves her. So she really needs to be able to handle that guy. So I can do a little bit, but I don't necessarily have enough for that. All right, so I think I do need to spend one for her to re-roll this and hope for some better stuff. Come on. So I got 2 trams now. All right. A little light on shock sticks, but okay. I think I can still make this work. I don't want to blow too many dice. Okay. So the question is who to go with first. So that guy doesn't have any effect at this point. So I'm not too concerned with him because his effect has already gone off. So I can spend a tram. Well, do I want to give any dice to anybody? That's the question. Both of them have trams, but okay. So I think I'll give him a tram. I will spend a tram to move. That way then when he comes down here, he doesn't have to spend a die to discard stuff. She does have a shock stick that I can play in there. Okay, and I do have a hand. All right. And that'll increase by 5. And then I did have that, so I could have spent that before I left. Should I do that? Yes, I probably should. Yeah, there's no point in not. I still have a hammer too. Unfortunately, there's not much else I can do with that. All right, so now the question is, he's got 2 shock sticks as well. But I'll spend 1 and I'll convert 1. So that takes care of this guy. And then I can give 1 to somebody. I still have a hand and the trams and stuff. All right. Or I could give him the tram because he's got 1 that he's going to need for underneath. He does have the 2 shock sticks for there. So I'll need 1 to move. So I got that one. I'll need 1 for underneath. I've got all the hammers. So I think I'm okay there. So the question is, well, I'll spend the hand to bump this up. And then I've got some extra dice at this point. So I've got enough shock sticks. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that one and pick up, well, do I want to buy that? Or I do have that. I do have the duct tape, which lets me convert a hood to a hammer, which then I could buy this, set 1 die, your die pulled any face. That could be super helpful. I think I will do that. So I'll do that to pick that up. All right, and that's the cassette player. Once per activation, you may spend 1 shock, okay, into a hood. Ooh, that would be really good too. All right, and that needs a shock stick and a random. All right, so I still have this, which I don't think I gave him anything yet. So which I converted the hood to that. So, and then on the shock stick, what did I do with? Then I have another shock stick. Oh well, I think it'll be fine either way. All right, so now it's over to my last character. So I am going to spend that to move down. Okay, and then I have to spend the 2 shock sticks to take him out. All right, so that clears those guys. I'll bring that down to her. Don't want to add that in there. Okay. And now I have the 2 hammers, the hood. All right, so I've got the hood, the 2 hammers, and the tram. So I'll just highlight these, move all of that over. Maybe. Come on. There you go. Okay. And that takes care of the 2 hammers, the hood, and the tram that satisfies that, which is going to let me build my final field. Okay. And then I have a tram, so I could pick up the radio, discard. You may refund any placed die, any placed dice, and discard the current grommet event. Then replace it with another. Place 1 card on the bottom of the deck and 1 on top. Okay. So I guess, yeah, let's go ahead and buy it. And let's see what comes up. All right, we got a pocket. All right, so place 1 die on this card during your activation. At the end of the next roll phase, remove the die from this card and turn them into any face of your choice. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, so that is that. So now it's the cleanup phase. So it's just the 1 ghost. So again, 10% drops us down to 40. So we're just holding steady at that. And that is the end of the round. So now it is a new round. So we'll bring the card down. All right, so this is Rex Garot. And so he is going to, it says during the cleanup phase, he kills 5% of the population for every empty space on this card and then remove all dice from him. All right, so that's not good. And I do have that 3rd event. So let's go ahead and, whoop, not that. I gotta draw 1 card and flip. There we go. All right, so we have Unstable Genius. So Rex gains the following additional health. Once all dice have been placed here, discard this card. Do not remove dice from this card during the cleanup phase. Ooh. So I basically will lose those dice. Oh, wait. Do not remove dice from this card during the cleanup phase. Have been placed here. Discard this card. Okay, so I think you can accumulate the dice on there, but once you've completed the card, then the dice will come back. Otherwise, that would make things really tough. Okay, so I need 3 hoods and a shock stick. So luckily, I've got 1 out there. Okay. And then what's this guy do when enters play? Okay, so he's just there causing problems. So hopefully I'll be able to get some good stuff on here now, and we'll see how this goes. All right. So that was that. So now we're at the point where we're going to be rolling dice. So let me move these all over. Okay. So as usual, we'll go ahead and start with him. So we're looking, I'm really needing hoods for this. All right, so he got one hood and hands. All right, and he's in there, so he could literally. All right, so that's just extra health, correct? So Rex gains the following additional health. Once all dice have been placed here, discard this card. Do not remove the dice from this card during the cleanup phase. Okay, so that just adds additional things to him, so I can still place dice on him. So with what I have currently, I have 2 hands. I have 2 of the trams, which is the one symbol he doesn't need. I do have 1 shock stick, so I could convert 1 tram to a shock stick, and I do have 2 hoods. So that will give me 3 out of the 4 dice on that. And then I can, see, I think I'm going to hold with him. So I'm really looking for hoods and hammers are the big things right now. So she does have 1 that she's currently holding on to. So maybe I'll get some additional here. Okay, so not bad. Okay, so I got 2 hammers, a hood, and she's got a 3rd hammer there, plus the shock sticks. Okay. So he's taking care of the 2 hands. And then he's got 2 hoods. Oh, and I do have this. So if needed, I could change a die to any face, so that could be helpful as well. All right, so right now I've got the 2 hands on there. I've got 1, 2, 3 hoods, which is going to take care of those 3 hoods that I need. And I do have a shock stick, so that'll clear the additional card. So the 1 tram I could change to a shock stick, and the other one I could use the Swiss Army to change to something else that I need. All right, and she's got 2 shock sticks that will take care of that. She's got the 2 hammers. And, oh man, I might have this in one shot here. So let's see what this guy gets. All right, so he's got some hammers. The trams are useless. He does have a hood and a hand. All right, so I think I'm going to hold steady here and see what I can do with this. All right, so the question is, I think I'm going to start with him. So I've got the 1 shock stick here, and I've got the hood and the hood. So that takes care of 3 out of the 4. I do have the 2 hands, so that'll take care of that spot there and this spot. I can convert this to a shock stick, so I'm just going to switch this out with that up there. And then I need 1 hood, which she has. So I still need hoods. All right, so this one will be the Swiss Army knife one. So that will be one of the hoods I need there. All right, so that takes care of that. I did have the duct tape as well, which lets me change a hammer or hood, but I don't have that. Okay, so oh, and then I gotta be able to move too. That's the other thing. All right, so I'll go with Stan next. So I'm going to give her a tram, and then I will spend a tram to move. So I'm going to move into here. I will spend this hood to finish that off. So that card is done. And then I have the 2 hammers. Okay, come on, there we go. There's 1 and 2. And then might as well spend a hand to give me 10% or 5%. All right, so I'm left with a shock stick and a hood. All right, so then it's her turn. So I will spend the tram that I got from him to be able to move there. And then I will spend the shock stick and the hood. And that completes it. Well, that went a little bit differently than I was expecting. The beginning of the game was rough. Those dice were brutal on me, but they swung in my favor towards the end there, and I was able to get Rex down without too much trouble. I was able to use some really cool items that helped that along the way, but I hope you found the video entertaining and helpful in deciding whether or not this is one you want to back on Kickstarter. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please post those in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them, or swing by the Kickstarter comment section and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creators would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.